Hi all, welcome to my channel. I'm Mark, this is Mark's Mods, and today is Back to the Future Fridays, everybody. So we have issue 4 of Build the Back to the Future Delorean, and I'm really excited. I love this build at the moment. It's one of my favourite builds that I'm doing, and yeah, we've got quite a bit to do in today's issue. It's one of them issues that just comes and it's going to take you time, but we've got some fiddly bits to do as well on it today, so this is going to be fun and entertaining for you all. So with all that said, let's get modelling. Okay, so let's get started with today's build. So the first thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be working on the reactor as seen in Back to the Future 1. So we've got this here. This just literally is going to slot in. It's got a little notch on it, so we need to line that little notch up, and that goes in, and then we're just going to twist it around to lock that into place. Now it's a very loose fit, is that, I will say that. Next bit we need is this bit here. Now we've got 3 holes. We've got sort of a bit of a notch, as you can see there, and that's literally going to go into the largest hole, which is that there. Just like that. And then we need to flip this over, and we need to screw it in place with some AP screws. We've got quite a few AP screws today, and we've got some absolutely tiny CP screws. Okay, so that's the first one in. I'm just being mindful because the first part of the reactor that's slotted in is not very tight fit, and I'm probably going to glue that in after the video, because I'm just not best happy with that at all. Okay, so that's in place just like that. And the next bit we need to do, we've got this bit here. This is clear. We're going to be bobbing this into place just like that there, and that needs to be screwed in again with 2 AP screws. Okay, let's get the first one in. There we go. That's the first one. Get the second one. And that's the second one in place, just like that. Okay, so we're going to put that to one side, because the next thing we're working on is the Mr. Fusion, looking just like this. So we need to put these 2 parts together, just like that. And then we've got 3 holes here, and we need to screw that in with, again, AP screws. So we need 3 of them. Now there is a mod for the flux capacitor, not the flux capacitor, the Mr. Fusion, where it actually hides these screw holes, and I think I'm definitely going to go down the road of that one. So that'll probably come in a different video. I'm probably going to have a playlist of Back to the Future mods, I think. Okay, so that's now in place. Just put that to one side. The next bit is we need to bring this bit here and this bit here, and this is just a simple push fit connection. We need to put this part here onto the top of here, just like that. It does feel quite loose, but it doesn't say to glue it in, but I do believe it's going to be held in place, because we need to now put this into the Mr. Fusion on there. And that's looking like that. That's very impressive so far. The next bit is we've got the cap, and put that on, and again that's just a push fit connection, and that's what it's looking like so far. I'm just going to put that to one side, because we need to next work on a hinge for this bit here. So what we need to do, we need to bob that into place, and then we're going to be screwing it in from the sides with more AP screws. So let's get the screw holes lined up. So we'll get the first one in. We'll try and get the first one in. Just double check, yes it is AP screws and not CP screws. That's the first side done. I'm just going to slacken that screw off a little bit, because what it's done is, if you notice, it's pulled it to one side, and I don't want it to do that because I need to get the other screw lined up, and then I'll tighten both of them up once this is in. So get the second AP screw. Now I'm just going to tighten them up, not too much, just so there's a little bit of resistance. Do the same with the second one, and that is a hinge installed. Okay, so the next bit is this bit, which is the Mr. Fusion chamber, and we need to attach the hinge to the Mr. Fusion chamber, which is going to go on there like that. But again, we need to screw this in with AP screw, one AP screw. Okay, so let's just check that it doesn't go, oh right, so there is a side it actually goes on, which is this side here. No, there's two holes on that one and one hole on that one, and that's the hole it needs to go into. So I'm just going to put that lid down because it'd be easier to work with it. Get the AP screw, put it in, and that's looking like that. Very nice. Okay, so turning the page of the magazine, still got quite a bit to do. The next, what we need to do is we need to attach the Mr. Fusion top with the chamber, and again we're just doing that with one AP screw. So slot that onto there, turn it over and screw that into place. Okay, I've got my screwdriver started, so just make sure that locks in. Sorry, that's my phone going off. Okay, so that's now looking like that. Okay, so just move that to one side, because the next two pieces we've got is the hinge. And again, we've got this red part here, and we've got this part here. I'm just looking how this goes, and this is just going to slot in like that. But again, we need to screw it in place. Now this is asking for these tiny CP screws, absolutely tiny. So I'm going to use my Wera PH000 screwdriver. I normally only use this on the bus, but this is going to be incredibly handy for this stage. I'm just going to get a screw in. Just want to get it started just like before to hold that in, and then we'll get the screw in the other side, and then we'll tighten them up. These screws are absolutely tiny. They really are. Now I just want to make sure, yes, I've got this the right way around. So I'm just going to tighten these up now, just till there's resistance. And that's now tightened up. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we need to put it on the Mr. Fusion and on the chamber, and it's going to be basically going in this way. This top piece here is going to basically clip into that bit there. So let's get this lined up. That's in, and that wants to be screwed in with an AP screw. it's the next bit that's coming up, and I'm not looking forward to. But you'll see in a second once that's in place. Okay, so that's now in place. So let's just move that hinge. Yeah. And as you can see, that can be moved up and it can be clipped in. Okay, so this is the bit that's a bit dreading, that I'm not looking forward to. So what I'm going to do, I want to get a CP screw loaded up on my screwdriver, because we're going to need it. And basically we have got some tiny springs to put in, and trust me, they are tiny, and they're stuck together and all, so I need to unstick them. I mean, I'll show you on the close-up camera what I mean by tiny. Close-up camera, that's how tiny these springs are. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we need to fit these tiny springs down here into the chamber for the hinge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm first going to get the CP screws started in the holes to try and make it a bit easier, because these springs are going to be a bit difficult and fiddly to get in place. So we'll get the second CP screw, screw that into place just like that. Okay, so we're going to get the first spring. I've got my tweezers. We're going to try and hook it over the little tab. This is going to be fiddly, but it needs to be done. Oh, damn. Gosh, this is absolutely tiny detail to work with, but it can be done and we will get there. And I'm not going to edit it, because if you're building this model too, you're going to have the difficulties the same as I am. Okay, so get that spring. The hardest part is getting it on the notch it needs to go in. Okay, so that is pretty much lined up. So I'm going to get the screwdriver. I'm just going to move it slightly, and I'm going to get the screwdriver and I'm going to screw it in, and hopefully, nope, it needs to move a bit more across. I think that still needs to come across more. It's really tiny. I mean, I've got good lighting in this in the bear cave because I have studio lighting, but wow. I'm just going to screw that in, and that's now locked in position just like that. Okay, so we've got one more to go. And this is just wanting to absolutely ping everywhere. Okay, I think that's lined up. So yeah, I think if you take your time with it, have good lighting when you do it, it is possible to get it done. Yeah, that screw's going in there now. And that's now in place, just like that. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is we need to bring the chamber across, because we're going to be screwing this in. Probably not going to use this for a while. Well, we need to screw it in with 3 AP screws. So I'm just going to get an AP screw lined up on my screwdriver, as always. Turn it around and screw it into place. I think I had a little bit of luck with them springs. I have heard stories of them really being a nightmare for people. So yeah. But this is looking absolutely superb. And the third and final screw is in place, and that is it. So we've completed the Mr. Fusion, looking like that, looking very nice. Tell you the truth, that is some fantastic detail on it. And we also got the reaction chamber that we've done today, and that is it for this issue. Yeah, that has been really much fun. And yeah, them springs were difficult, but if you take your time, it is possible to do them. So that's issue 4 all done now. Well, that's it for Back to the Future Friday, guys. Oh, I've got to wait a week now until I can work on this model some more. Oh, that's just going to be... I just can't wait. I just want to do this model. I just wish I had 20 issues of the Back to the Future DeLorean and we just have a complete weekend of doing this model. I really wish. But unfortunately, I'm doing it on a weekly, so it's going to be another week now until that build is the next stage of the build, which is issue 5, and I do have issue 5 here. So yeah, I really enjoyed that issue of the DeLorean, and that Mr. Fusion chamber. Wow, that looks absolutely fantastic. It does give you some idea of what the car's going to have. Now, remember, the reactor was used in Back to the Future 1. Then we saw the Mr. Fusion chamber at the end of Back to the Future 1, and then it also featured in Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3 as well. So yeah, it's nice to have a nice bit of iconic bit of the time machine on the car. So yeah, so if you like this video, please give it a massive thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified of any future videos. But as for always, guys, stay safe and bye for now.